editing is the most genuine aspect of the filmmaking process. Richard Barsom and Dave Monahan, authors of Looking at Movies, define editing as the selection and arrangement of shots and sounds. As an art form that is unique to the medium of film, editing can really shape what the movie says as a whole. It provides a way for the movie to communicate information implicitly. Ideally, editing is supposed to be an invisible part of a movie. Editing isn't meant to be picked up on by the audience at all, but rather silently understood. Even if the audience notices the cut from one shot to another, the art of editing is there to make sure that the audience understands this cut as a continuous product and not two different takes. But editing isn't only for jumping to different takes of the actors. Editing can serve a variety of purposes. And for every purpose editing can serve, there are different types of cuts that can be used to achieve the effect. Let's look at some of the ways Stanley Kubrick's film 2001: A Space Odyssey and Wes Anderson's film The Grand Budapest Hotel use different cuts to communicate to the audience. There are 5 main uses of editing: to organize fragmented actions and events, create meaning through juxtaposition, create spatial relationships between shots, create temporal relationships between shots, and to establish and control shot duration, pace, and rhythm. All these functions can be seen in almost every film. In addition, there are 3 ways to match a cut for continuous editing: eyeline, action, and rarely graphic. These effects are used in 2001: A Space Odyssey to great effect. At the beginning of the movie, we get arguably the most famous graphic match cut of all time. As the ape throws the bone tool in the air, we see it cut to a satellite drifting in space. A transition from man's first technology to the marvel of the future. This transition from the dawn of man to a now untitled future correlates the actions of the first humans shown in the scene before the cut, and relies on audiences' expectations to help viewers draw a conclusion about the action that will take place in the rest of the film. Another great example is how editing gives Hal personality and life. When Hal is first shown on screen, all the viewer sees is a camera lens. But the use of voiceover in the film and close-ups on the lens imply that Hal is talking in tandem with the actors. In addition, when these shots are followed up by close POV shots from the camera lens with an iris, it tells the audience not only what Hal is seeing, but what he is feeling and what he is thinking. It really lets the viewer know how creepy and unnerving a robot with this level of AI would be.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Let's shift our attention to one scene from the Grand Budapest Hotel, which also makes great use of its editing to communicate to its audience. When Gustav and Zero make a phone call to the member of the Society of Crossed Keys, a series of phone calls are made in order to help them. Each new caller is first introduced by their hotel's name. They are then shown getting the message and asking their respective lobby boys to take over. This is followed by a cut to them using the phone in the lobby and an iris in to accentuate who is being called next. This pattern continues and adds a bit of humor as the viewers wait to see the variations of each sequence. The pattern finally breaks when it cuts back to Gustav and Zero, who are now waiting on a hay bale. This cut back to our main characters in a different location tells the audience that while all this was happening, a great deal of time has passed. In other words, the editing not only establishes a pattern, but uses it to communicate a shift in time to the viewer. In conclusion, editing can often be foundational to how a story is told in film. Often coined the invisible art form, it's a vital part of how any film is made.